Hi, welcome back. It's Jared here again. One of the last things we're going to add to our little GUI here is the ability to add in a CSS or cascading style sheet. So the idea here is that what we're looking at in all the screens that we've created, and we've done a few now. We can look at our detailed person view. These are all using the default style. Now we did change the font a little bit through Scene Builder, but the reality is most businesses, as you build out an application, you want the ability to style all the pages exactly with the same style. And the way to do that is with this style sheet. And what we're going to look at today is how we can set that up for our application. So let's go into our project here. And what I want to do is I want to create a new, and I'll go down here, pick up other, and at the bottom of this, a cascading style sheet. Say next. And we'll call our style sheet, let's call it layout 1, or how about call it the gray theme. Finish. Okay, so here we have a cascading style sheet. There's absolutely nothing in it. So what we'll do is we'll start off with something small. We'll actually pick what colors we want to use in our style sheet. And there's lots of utilities online to help you do this. If you're like me, you might not be too strong with colors, even if you love programming. So I'll introduce you to a couple neat options here. This one is material palette. And what's fabulous about this is you just have to pick two primary colors. So for example, I could have, I don't know, gray and blue-gray. And what it'll do is it'll create a palette for me of colors that work together. And it tells you, here's your primary dark color, here's your primary color, your light primary color, text should be in these colors. So it makes it really easy to design a new color scheme. Most businesses, have actual designers that will do this for you. But if you didn't have that, this is a way to do it. Or for example, maybe I liked light blue and blue gray. If I pick those two, it'll put together these colors for me. So let's go with these. And what you can do is you can download the CSS. And you can just save it. Open it up here. I'll just copy it. And I'll go into my file here and let's paste it. Now, this is designed for HTML, so it doesn't work perfectly as is with Java, so we need to make a couple minor adjustments to it. Same is true if you've ever played with Android Studio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do star. I'll put all these items inside of this, and we'll get rid of the dot. Let's see. Let me make this a bit bigger for you too. There we go. So what we're doing here is we're basically defining variables. But anytime we refer to dark primary color, it will bring up that color. We won't necessarily use all these, but it's good to have them, and we can always refer to them. And the other nice thing with this is that it brings consistency through your document. Because then you don't have to try to think, what was the color? Because to me, this really doesn't mean a lot. But if I know all of my secondary text should be in that color, then it's easy enough to refer to them. Okay, so let's start with something simple. Let's look at, if I said dot root, this is my root pane, and I can do something simple. I can say FX, and I can say the background color should be, and then here I can say, oh, okay, like this is my default primary color, so I'll just copy that down here. Should be that. So let's take a look at just this simple little change and what it'll do to our first screen that we get to was this one. So we'll launch it here in Scene Builder. And let's take a look. So you see how it's a very light gray. And I'm going to choose the anchor pane. So this is like a highest level object here, right? So we want it nice and high. And I'm going to go down to Style Sheets. And the only thing I don't like is it doesn't by default use the same root directory. So you actually have to go all the way into your your files, which I find a little bit of a nuisance, but that's how they designed it. So in source, go to GUI demo, and we picked a gray theme CSS. So let's open that up, and we'll hit save. So this is what it looked like before. Now if we run our program, we're going to see that the background here has changed to a darker gray for this particular scene. Now this is the only scene that where we've used this color. If I go to the table view, you can see that was the original one. So you see how we were able to impact the background color instantly by doing this. And we can apply the exact same file to all of our scenes, so all of them will look the same. So then we can start to style things like our buttons. Now, one thing that's kind of neat is, see, like this is our default button, and it looks nice, but we can add other features to them. So let's play with that. So you just have to identify your object, button, and I'm going to say FX font, and we'll make it 16 pixels. So I don't care what was there before. We'll make it 16 pixels. And the font choice will be Arial. And you can keep adding these things in. And we'll say text fill. And up here, we can say, well, what's the primary color for font? Oh, it's this guy. So let's pull that. And we can put in some padding. So what this will do is it'll make our buttons a little bit taller all the way around. Put in like 5 pixels of padding. And I love this one. We can do FX background. Actually, sorry, I'll do the background one first. So the background color, let's make a button different from our primary color. So let's see, so our primary, so if we did default primary color, so let's do our accent color here for our button. And then we can do FX effect. So FX has a lot of effects. I'm not going to go into all the details of them. You can play around with them and see, but one of them is called the drop shadow. There's a 1-pass box, and there's also, I think, a 3-pass box. But we'll do it in black. And basically, this is 14 indicates the size of the shadow, so like how many pixels of shadow we have. And then 6 is how many pixels to the right we're going to go. And this 0 is how many pixels down we're going to go. So I'm just going to put a little shadow to the right as if there's lighting to the right of the button. And we can also style the corners of these buttons. So background, radius 8. So what this will do is it'll change the shape of the button, and basically the higher the number on the radius, the more rounded the buttons become. So let's we'll hit save here. Let's see how our gray theme affects the screen. Okay, so there you see how the buttons now, they have a rounded corner and they have this shadow that goes off to the right by a few, I guess 8 pixels, right? Compare this with what we had before. So you can see how quickly you can modify these types of things. It is dark, but the goal of this video is really just to show you, I don't know, maybe this would look better in a white type color. And let's see, so that's the text primary color. Let's see if there's a text. Let's try the secondary text color, see if that's any better. That is worse. Well, the other thing you can do if it's not doing what you love in terms of, you can always do color picker. And let's choose something closer to white. So let's just do that. So you can see here in the lighter the darker. So pure white's FFFFFF. So maybe we'll go just one off of pure white. Let's do this color here, and we call this our secondary text. So. There we go. I like that. That looks nice. Okay, so now we've got our buttons styled a little bit, and we can go down now and we can play with this. We can, it doesn't look grand in there. So maybe we want to update our labels. So to update our labels, let's go and all you have to do is say .label. And here we can adjust the font. So let's say font. And we can make it a little bit brighter. So let's do text fill and so fill the text with this color, our secondary text color, and we can change alignments of things. So we can center it vertically. Let's save. Oh, we have to close our existing view. Close. And now if we can see all of our labels have already turned to white. Now this is a little too bright here, so I might have to play with that a bit. But it is a little bit arguably easier to see them. See how this looks. Oh, that looks okay. All right. So there's some of the basics. If we go to choice box, because that one, our choice box example, no longer looks great. So we can say choice box, and similarly here, we can now choose maybe the text primary color. Save. Okay, so this is what we had. So in our choice box, it was a little too light, and now if that change, it's still pretty light. Still pretty light. Okay. So let's make it a darker choice here. So it's a darker color. Well, you know, we'll stay in our color scheme here. Let's do just our dark primary color. Save. Run this now, see if it's any better. It's not really respecting it at all, is it? Well, that's I do find that every once in a while with these. Got a little clean and build. See if that makes a difference. Did not. Interesting. But it is centering it. Interesting. So it's oh yes. So it's respecting the label. So I'm not sure why it's not respecting our choice box piece here. You can put specific styling on items. As a rule, I try to keep it at the anchor pane level because then you can apply it from scene to scene to scene. If you start applying specific styles at this level, it can become challenging sometimes. I don't know why it's not respecting our choice box adjustment here. It's really quite interesting. Okay. Alright, I'll have to get back to you on that one. But otherwise, what I was going to show you is we can pull up some of our other themes, other scenes. So there's our table view scene. And if I go to the anchor pane, under properties, I'll attach the same CSS to it. And you can see right away, even in Scene Builder, it's picked up on the the choice of font colors and the buttons. Now, I don't know why it doesn't show the background color. Haven't quite figured that one out, but it does pick up a lot of our styling right away. Oh, I wonder if it's picking up on the color scheme of the button in our drop down. I wonder if that's for some reason impacting things. Let's try this. That looks better. Still hard to read there, but anyways, if we go to table view now, you can see how it's styled the same. So when we go from scene to scene, our styling stays consistent. And for relative, that's the styling we had before. So so that's great. Now let's say your company decided to change their mind on things, and they wanted a completely different look and feel. What's fabulous about the CSS is if you had a designer that built out the CSS, you can now change things really, really quickly. So for example, if I go back in here, I'll go to my anchor pane, and I decide to remove the CSS that we have. I have another theme in here. It's called the dark theme. I just pulled it so just to show you how fast we can change the look and feel of our program. This would be very hard to handle at a element by element basis. But now I can change to the dark theme. Hit save. Go to my other window. Remove this CSS. Pick up the dark theme. I'll save. So now, when we run the exact same program, just by changing those two files out, our CSS files, should have a much... That didn't work. Why didn't that work? Let's clean and build this thing. Okay, went on one screen, didn't work on the other. All right, why is that? Let's try setting that up again. Something didn't go right there. All right. So needless to say, that's what I want to show you, how simple it is to change things. It's not respecting the change. So am I not doing it at the right level? That's what the problem was. I was selected on a sub element, not at the top level. So let's remove this from the top level and go all the way up, make sure we got the top here. Now we can add our style sheet. Add in our dark theme. That looks better. Okay. file. Let's hit save. Now we'll go back, and if we run it, you can see we now have our dark theme everywhere, and you can see even some of these buttons had like slight hover over effects and things like that. And if we go to table view, right, and if we were to select one of these, that's the original, right? So it is a drastic difference that you can do just by playing with the CSS. So I encourage you to take a look around. There is lots of online support for the different CSS styles and things that you can do, and look forward to seeing some of your creations. Cheers.